All right, Scavengers, welcome to the Six Scale Scavengers show, podcast, YouTube, Hangout, whatever this thing is, guys. Episode 42. I'm Bryan Fontaine. I'm joined with my good friends, TC, and we have a good show planned for everybody today. And this is kind of weird. We were literally just talking about this, so it's kind of a continuation of that conversation. But we've mentioned it multiple different times over the last couple of shows, and understandably, even since the last time the three of us got together, the world's a much different place. Chris, you and I were just talking. It feels like these 3 days have been a year, and if you go back to January, we were talking about, maybe a virus out there that was impacting one part of the world. And now I can't think of one person that this hasn't touched. COVID-19, and in so many different ways, it's literally changing how we're going to go about our daily lives after this, and things that we took for granted beforehand. And I don't want to make this whole show about that, but I think it's important to know that we're just talking about some toys, and hopefully, Chris, that we can be a little bit of, everybody was scared that we were going to be canceling the show or postponing it and whatnot. And hey, as long as we still have our health, as long as we still have computers and internet and the ability to hop on here and chat with everybody, we're going to do it. I mean, the three of us love talking hot toys. We love talking collecting. We do it on a daily basis. We talk about that a lot. But if this can give anybody a little glimmer that there's still some good out there, there's some things worth getting excited about, regardless of what we're facing as humans, as the entire world at this point, I feel like it's not necessarily our duty to do so, but it's our pleasure to be able to be a little bit of a distraction here.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's just, it's crazy times we're in right now, uncharted territory. And, we hope that, we can at least give some positivity to you guys and just keep the collecting conversation going. And, we got some great news to talk about. So I'm looking forward to that discussion. And, the chat's already blowing up, and everybody's looking forward to, what's to come tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you can't avoid what's in the news. You can't avoid reality. Obviously, this is not important at all. But hopefully, like you guys said, it's an outlet. Hopefully, it's just a way you can kind of get your mind off of what's happening in the world and kind of just sit back and enjoy an hour and a half without having to worry about everything else going on. So,
this show's definitely going an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I also, I guess, to start the show off a little lighthearted here, kind of due to everything going on. And, it's so crazy out there right now. I mean, so many people, either are working from home. There's the unfortunate side of things where there's temporary layoffs. This literally is going to change everything. And I think having some empathy for everybody out there. But due to that, I'm in a different recording space. I'm actually in my bedroom, and I this is the first time I've ever recorded in here. So it's a little bit of a different background. You can actually see behind me, there's a whole bunch of Hot Toys boxes. Most of those actually still have the figures in because I've been so busy. I haven't been able to unbox them. And there's like a vanity mirror right on top of it. So I figure my big noggin will probably block most of that. And I also broke my mic stand while I was setting up tonight. So I apologize in advance if you're hearing a little bit more bumps and stuff on my end, because my mic is on my desk and not hanging suspension wise like you guys is. But TC, I know you've got a newly painted room.
I do. Hopefully it's not as bright as it was before. I know I want to kind of get a green screen kind of put behind me.
Maybe we'll put that in our budget. Our budget. We have a budget of like $0.00 for all of this stuff. maybe we could invest in some green screens.
Just Bill headquarters up in New Hampshire.
That's right.
And
Wherever that
Chris,
is.
and Chris is in Root Cellar 2.0.
Yes, I am. I'm got everything all set up the other day and tweaked some things today, and it's much better than Root Cellar 1.0, where there's actually roots growing into the foundation. So, nice new space. I got my, let's see if I can point, my Hot Toys storage facility behind me. And it's just, great to have a proper setup with, I can get a nice new chair, and it's hopefully going forward, we won't have any hamster wheels breaking down or any of that stuff.
Well, hopefully at some point your collection, if you are where I think you are in your basement, it's kind of where we mocked up your where you need to build those custom shelves out there. So
someday.
Yeah. All right. So before guys, we get into our new segment we started a couple episodes ago. If anybody's new with the Spark, what's sparking our curiosity? Gosh, I got to give a shout out. Gear Bear out there, Lavelle pulling the levers at Hot Toys recently with all the DC goodness out there, and he's been throwing a bone to us Star Wars collectors lately, so that's good. I told him he has to release a diecast Mark 1 here to appease the Marvel fans too. We got Noble out there, Super Duper Paratrooper, Video Pirate, Sean's out there. We've got Aaron, Ralph, Danny, Sean. Let's see.
Red Wolf.
Crispy. Red Wolf out there in quarantined California. Mario, the Intergalactic Arms Dealer. Speaking of Intergalactic Arms Dealer, we got to think up a nickname for Hidalgo in our group, because man, he is Johnny on the spot when it comes to sharing news about new figures and stuff. And I got to give him credit. He was $1 off on his prediction for what the deluxe Mando and Child was going to be on Sideshow. I think he estimated 314 or 315. I think it came in at 313. So
that's crazy.
I challenge for the Scavengers tuning in live. Let's think of a nickname for Hidalgo along the vein of Intergalactic Arms Dealer. So I don't know, Intergalactic Town Crier or something. I don't know. But yeah, we've got Giovanni, Mike. Justin's in the house. Dorklair, Bill Janowski. What's going on, Bill? Caesar, Link the Jedi, Deck Collector, Curtis. Man, I'm probably going to miss a few other people in here, but we're already up to 50 guys. I mean,
wow.
People definitely want to come hang out and talk about. I saw Mike. Mike said he was looking forward to this for most of the day, and I was looking forward to chatting the three of you, but I certainly also love just interacting with our audience, and hopefully maybe we could do it a little bit more. We got Iron Geek 37 just popped in.
Oh yeah.
So we're moving on up. We're not going to make this a competition tonight with the Assemble Gang, but let's have some fun tonight, guys. Space Paul Revere.
I know.
From Bill. And Bill's got some Boston roots, so I that might stick.
Yeah. Red Wolf came with Nostradalgo. So that's pretty good.
I don't know if Hidalgo's tuning in live, but if afterwards, I'm sure he's going to get a kick out of him getting mentioned so many different times here at the beginning. So actually, before I forget too, I was talking to Matt earlier, one of our hosts of Rogue 16. Got the shirt on here.
I've got my shirt on. I want, represent. It's
representing. So he was telling me that with everything going on, and if you happen to be a member of our private Facebook group, him and Chris B are going to start up a new little segment in the group every other Tuesday, maybe. I don't know if it's every Tuesday, but he's actually calling it Shelter in Space instead of in place. And they're gonna watch some Star Wars related content with the audio off, and hopefully have everybody sync up their viewing. And they're just gonna talk about some things about the movie and collecting. And I'm sure they're gonna talk about Anovo's helmets and all that other fun stuff. So
that's a guarantee.
So stay tuned into that. One reason to be part of our community, but stay tuned for that. So, all right, guys, let's get into one of our newer segments, the Spark. And Chris, I'll start with you.
All right.
What's piquing your curiosity lately?
Rogue One 6, baby. Rogue One 6 has gotten me into Rogue One like you wouldn't believe. That's because it's all they talk about. Like literally. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I've been listening to Rogue One on audio. Second time around, I listened to it back when it originally released, and making my way through the novel. And I just, that story, that movie, everything around that, I just love it. And I listened to Catalyst and Rebel Rising to lead up to that again, and they just build on those stories and those characters, and yeah. So I've just been looking at those figures continuously and just looking at the prices and just crying and hoping to find a deal. But yeah, that's mine.
All right, TC, I'm looking at the show notes and I see yours, and I know that we're going to be talking about it at length. But what's your curiosity?
Mando.
That's
right. Mandalorian. Yeah, it's an exciting day because you can wake up and you can finally see what everyone's been clamoring for from Hot Toys. They had the announcement before. A month went by, nothing. Everyone wants to see the child. The child's here. And we got ourselves a deluxe and a standard Beskar release. And I already pre-ordered it. I'll just give it a foreshadowing. I broke some rules today, but, rules are meant to be broken, especially for something like this.
Time out. Code alert. See if it's legit for Sideshow.
Maybe if the website actually works. So I don't think, Chris, I think in 42 episodes, this might be the first time that this has actually ever happened.
Let's see. I'm loading mine right now. Actually, Link, the Jedi, dropped it into the chat. Oh, yeah. $2.
People listening to this on the audio are like going to throw stuff or throw their phone or just delete the episode if they're listening.
Hey, those dollars add up.
They do.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that.
Well, let's see if mine actually sticks. With the website crashing around 8 Eastern time tonight.
Yeah, we lost out on
7:30. We lost out on a code of an undetermined amount because somebody broke Sideshow. And we'll actually talk about that in the news. I don't know if that was the reason why, but so TC, very good choice there. And I'll just keep mine very brief because it's still Star Wars. But I've been on an OT kick, as you can see a lot of the boxes behind me. Some of the stuff that I had picked up before everything kind of went to heck here was a lot of OT figures, and I'd kind of paused my rewatch of going back through all the movies. For some reason, I had gotten stuck in the middle of Empire for a while, and just life got in the way. And I went back and finished the rest of it recently, and then I started Return of the Jedi the other night. And man, that's just been my kick. Like, I'm still not sure how I feel about the sequels. I'll definitely going to purchase and rewatch Rise of the Skywalker when it's out in physical form. But that's where my loyalties lie. And TC, I'd be lying to everybody if I wasn't also really thinking about rewatching Mandalorian. Maybe I'll rewatch the Mandalorian right after I finish Return of the Jedi. That'd be a kind of a nice little transition there.
Yeah, good timing.
So should have done it at the top, but everything seems like it's out of whack with this episode, and everyone's life's getting turned upside down. So our topic and agenda for this show, we are going to review Princess Leia, Best Spin, Hot Toys figure. The MMS number is 508. So we're gonna talk about that at the end. We have a guest review from our buddy Mike. to include with ours as well. And our topic is, you can see that in the YouTube title here, and as you have downloaded this, if you're listening to the audio, keeping up with the Hot Toy Joneses. We didn't want to go with keeping up with the Kardashians. That just seemed a little too on the nose, but something that we'll get into as we get to that part of the show after our collection update. And I'm sure it'll lead to a really good conversation, something that a lot of collectors deal with. And I think as time goes on here, and as the world is still coming to grips of the reality of what we are, I'm sure some of our topics will be related to that. But I would just say, like I said at the top, collecting's fun. It's fun to get new stuff. It's fun to talk about it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just toys, and there are a lot more pressing, urgent, real world needs out there and stuff like that. Just don't lose sight of that. I can't think of one person that hasn't been impacted by this in some way, in a way that we never would have even guessed 2 weeks ago.
Crazy.
It's tough. But you're right, Bryan. Yeah, don't lose sight of what's important, and because at the end of the day, all this can wait. But anyway.
All right, let's just pause in here because
sorry.
Trying to find my.
What's it like when you're at the theater? Not a shift change, but like a scene change. That's what's going on here.
This was
the,
not.
The lights dim and you hear shuffling noises.
This is not what I'd call a good segue. So we're gonna switch to news.
Yeah.
Just kind of do my little Obi-Wan. We can do a little screen scrape here to move over to that, but. So let's talk about news, and obviously we will talk about the Mando and the Child at some point here too. But there's been some like crazy stuff, guys, going on. A lot of the newer releases and stuff, the Assemble Gang already talked about. Chris tried to include notes about talking about the new Harley Quinn figure, but they already talked about it on the Assemble. So I made the executive decision to take that one off. We don't need to talk about that. I'm sure you're going to work it in anyways, Chris, because I'm sure Gare Bear slipped you a 20 or something, or pulled that little lever.
Well, I mean, Matt expressed his love for the figure so much on the Assemble and said how much he wanted every Harley Quinn figure. You know, I can't compete with that. So
it's like if you ever watch, I know I'm a big college football fan. If you ever watch big games like Alabama versus another team, like if someone on the other team does good in the first quarter, Alabama's like, oh, nice, congratulations. But then they start hanging around. They start getting pissed. It's like the DC figures. You know, we start getting one. We're like, oh, great, good for the DC collectors. But by the time the fourth one rolls around, everyone's pissed and they want to see the next Star Wars figure. Yeah. That's what it is.
That's basically what happened.
So I'm calling shenanigans on what Sideshow's been doing on their website. There's been a lot of speculation in our group and amongst our admin team on what the heck they're doing or how they're finding some of this stock. We'll start with what happened yesterday. Out of the blue, Chris, the Jedha Patrol Stormtrooper from Rogue One just popped up for pre-order on the website. And it wasn't even just like, hey, low stock, they found a few. I would probably put good money that they probably had over 20, maybe even a little bit more, because there was quite a few scavengers in our group that I know got it and had said that. And I'm sure, I know I saw it in Tashi. I saw John Martino share it. Zach in the Collecting Weekly group also shared it, Collecting Weekly Ox. So it was even getting posted out. So I know of at least probably 5 to 10 scavengers that grabbed it, maybe even somebody on this panel right here. So where the heck did that come from?
It was that secret layer part of the warehouse they unearthed. It's crazy. I know we've seen stuff like this in the past, but to come across a decent amount of stock of a figure that came out like 3 years ago or something like that. Yeah, I know Justin's. Yeah, of course you would put that up there. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Justin is happy that we're not talking about DC. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe there's some stockpiles of Rogue One figures tucked away in various warehouses overseas, and I don't know. It's just interesting. Vendor stock left over that Sideshow bought back or took back. It's just crazy.
TC, any conspiracy theories about what might have happened here?
I don't know. Just occasionally, if you look on eBay for that figure, it will come up internationally for pretty cheap. I don't know. Either they found something in the warehouse or they got something sent back to them. I don't really see anything else. I don't know much about their business model, but it doesn't look like they go back. They go out and buy collections. So to me, maybe one of their authorized retailers internationally just sent them a bunch. And now it's like the Mark VI, the plastic version that came back in stock about a year ago. That was a Chinese exclusive in Shanghai at their Disney World location. And then Sideshow got a hold of some. I think it might be some of the same. This figure actually had a couple. It was an exclusive, but I think it was a Hot Toys exclusive. Or they had Toys R Us version. They had the Sideshow exclusive version, then the Hot Toys, I think, exclusive sticker.
Yeah,
so a weird release. It was, I think, released after the other ones, and it was never quite as popular. So I can see internationally that there might be some leftover stock at that one specifically. The other ones I can't speak for. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, so those other ones, so completely out of the blue. I wish I knew what scavenger to credit that found it first. And apparently I wasn't seeing their posts in our group because I posted the same exact things and I deleted the posts afterwards. But and I didn't look exclusively to see what other DC or Marvel figures that showed up. But TC, out of the blue, there was at least 1 to 2 cheered MOA deluxes that showed up. There was at least 1 to 2 jump troopers that showed up from the Star Wars Battlefront game, Battlefront 1. And the Jeddah Patrol 2-pack, the Stormtrooper pack, which includes that is a gem for the price that it is now. I know people that are paying potentially that amount for just one of the 2 figures. Now that has the TK 427965974.
Yeah, exactly.
And it has the other Stormtrooper that came solo packed, the bonus Stormtrooper.
It actually didn't come in any pack.
Yeah, so you have to get the 2-pack to get that one, and it is the Rogue One Stormtrooper, but it is weathered from like the waist down. I have it. It looks good. But I mean that just like incredibly. And the funny thing is they left up the images for a little bit of time. Now, I think the best way people were finding it, and I do the same thing. I don't have any like save searches that I use on the Sideshow website. I'll go to the shop tab. I'll click Star Wars and then I'll click Hot Toys and I'll see, okay, however many are showing up. And then you can split it even further to see, what's in stock versus pre-order. And then I looked and I'm like, wait a second. I knew that with the both Mandalorian releases that the number went up, and I think it had gone up to 51 earlier, but all of a sudden it was 55. So then you're like, okay, well, which one of these things was not here before? And I completely missed the Chirrut. I already have the figure, so I was just hoping a scavenger got it. But you're looking through, and you're like, on the very bottom of the list, it said sold out for the Stormtrooper 2-pack, and I'm like, some lucky bastard. And then I know there's at least 2 people I know, and potentially maybe a third now on this panel, that has been dying to get that set. I know Chris B was throwing a meme fit in our group about throwing the child temper tantrum on the ground, saying he missed out on it. I hope somebody got it, but man, Steve coined the phrase quite a while ago. Always be scavenging. Like, that's something that until we see otherwise, I mean, what would stop any scavenger from taking a peek in the afternoon, just seeing like what's there? I'm sure it's like that right place, right time. 10 episodes ago or so, when I had this story about finding the Mark 46 on Big Bad Toy Store, like sometimes stuff just happens. And hopefully it happens to somebody that needs it and wants it and isn't looking to flip it. And even if they had grabbed it because they saw it, hopefully they are able to help out a friend. I'm not advocating that they can't flip it, but just speaking from the world could use a lot more karma, good karma out there, not bad karma. I would want to throw it out into the universe that, with all this bad stuff going on, let's get some good karma coming my way. So hopefully somebody comes forward actually after it actually gets delivered. Maybe kind of like what I did with the Mark 46 TC. I didn't really say anything outside of to you guys until I actually had it in hand, because I was like, that's just too good to be true. That they're gonna see my order. They're gonna be like, what, this schmuck doesn't actually get the figure. That was just an inventory issue.
Yeah. Did they also have the Gladiator Thor? I didn't see that one.
Jason had said he spotted that. He said there may have been a couple others, but he didn't take any screenshots or anything. But he was saying that one time randomly, this is a couple years ago, he was up in the middle of the night and checked Sideshow, and they had a New Hope Obi-Wan like in stock, and he's just like, huh, okay, like, I'm gonna buy this. And a couple, maybe one or two that they found, but you just never know. And it stinks, because I mean, it's awesome for the people that do find them, but you can't be looking at the site all the time. And we're lucky that we have such good members of the group and everything that post a link and that sort of thing. And even the people that posted the links, I mean, they either didn't need the figure or they didn't get one. But still, it's just that 2-pack. I
never got that one. I remember I ordered internationally a long time ago. It was like $375 from South Korea. And I got the package, and it was the regular Stormtrooper. That was that story I had. You remember that? And so I tried returning it, and the dude wouldn't take it back. He never got back to me. And so like after like 3 weeks, eBay stepped in and said, just, you can keep it. So I ended up keeping that regular Trooper, which I don't have right now, but never did get my hands on the 2-pack. It always kind of escaped me. It was always a little too much, or just never came through.
I think Kanji Club is like one of my favorite scavengers right now.
I know.
Bryan will stumble onto a Yondu at retail tomorrow on Sideshow.
How's Yondu's how's the value for that figure going these days? I think
it's still strong.
It's strong, but I don't think it's as strong.
Yeah,
I think just in general. I just popped the screen up a little bit ago. NRL was able to get a K2SO on NO Toys.
Yeah,
we won't ask PJ the Paradox Nerd or Matt to say what that website name is, but we're gonna keep it clean. I missed Sean was in here earlier. He just had popped in for a little bit, and he's gonna go back to saving some Marvel and Star Wars. I can't imagine trying to do production work right now. I mean, we have some members of our community that are producers and that stuff, and it's just like I hopefully it's that, the phrase "this too shall pass." Maybe that's thinking a little too optimistically. Maybe we haven't even seen the worst of it yet, but I think if everybody follows the guidelines and stuff of what we're being asked to do, and the people that need the help can get the help, and that buzzword flatten the curve. I know I'm trying to do my part, but Anyways, let's talk about some Mando.
Oh, look at that! Look at that goodness!
Glorious.
Very glorious. So full disclosure, I think both. I don't know if I threw it into our chat or the full admin chat this morning, guys, but I saw one of the images popped up, and I've seen somebody do a Photoshop of this before, and it was funny because my first thought wasn't, "Oh, cool, they finally are going to release this." It was like, "Oh, that's for Photoshop," and then I read some more, and I'm like, "Oh, this is legit. This is this is happening." And it didn't happen at like 11 Eastern time, the night we're getting ready to finish the podcast here.
Oh, thank God! Thank God!
Yeah, I woke up this morning, and I think the first Facebook post I saw was just a screenshot of it. And so I also thought, is it actually real? So then I, of course, check Hot Toys site, and then I saw the description, and it was refreshing to see with all the stuff going on, but then all the announcements by Hot Toys, and then Sideshow with their own thing, and then just the lack of this figure that everyone's been wanting is just kind of and maybe really amped for it. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I'm just really amped for the figure.
Yeah, it was surprising. I woke up so early this morning, and I should have said who posted it first in our group, but
Hidalgo.
Yeah, it was Hidalgo. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Hidalgo's Adam Schefter over here.
Yeah, he's
NFL reporter.
He's scooping everything.
Hidalgo shift. I don't know.
No, don't even try.
Yeah, just stop. Put me out of my misery.
Chef Dalgo.
Yeah, Space Paul Revere. Yeah, just awesome seeing all the accessories and Mando in his epic Beskar armor.
So, can I ask you, I'm going to get the specs and all the the fun stuff about the figure here in a second once my my iPad here wakes up with our show notes on it. So I'm going to say it audibly just so everybody in the podcast can hear, but I'm kind of circling it with my mouse here. Do you guys remember? I could have sworn that he had 2 Beskar thigh pads, but everything I'm seeing is he didn't upgrade that part of his armor. And it has, I don't know. I thought at first, that's really weird, but then I looked up as many images as I could about the Beskar, and that's what it was in the show. So everyone's like, "Oh, geez, we're gonna get a third Mando," and I'm like, I don't think so, because I don't know.
I don't know either.
I never paid attention to this thigh armor. I don't know. I don't know. I was never drawn there.
Yeah, I haven't gone through and watched them all consecutively and really dug in. I haven't really. I should, but yeah. It's one of those things where until you see it like this, it's kind of a minor detail.
It does look a little. The Beskar looks a little matte, or a little bit silver, like a silver matte, not as much chrome. It if you look at the Innovo's helmet, it looks like a darker shade of gray, weathered. This is more. It's it's just a brighter silver. I think it might be a little off, but then again, I can't tell. The Mandalorians, everything's all dark, so the true color might actually be that. What Hot Toys has.
I mean, how can this not just warm your cold little heart right here?
Look at the little guy.
Look at the little guy, the child, Baby Yoda. Danny's saying there might be a third Mando with the. I'm drawing a blank on the actor's name. Pedro
Pascal.
Yeah.
Din Djarin. Yep.
I don't know. Maybe he didn't give his likeness for that. I mean, that's one of the biggest things we have about a lot of figures that we never see, and maybe one of the reasons why we keep getting Harley Quinn for the DC side. Maybe they don't have anybody else's likeness.
I don't know. There's supposedly, I don't know if it's 3A or 30 or whatever, has the Game of Thrones license. They've supposedly teased the idea of them making his character, and that's a license, they're licensed for Game of Thrones. So if he gave his likeness for them, you'd think he would have signed off for Hot Toys. But that's yet to be confirmed. But it would be cool. It would be cool. I would say probably for season 2, though.
Yeah.
When I expect him to potentially have the helmet off more often in season 2, but pretty happy with the offerings for this figure, standard and deluxe.
I'm sorry, Mark just put you in your place. I wouldn't pose him with a head sculpt. That's not the way.
No, it isn't the way. That's why.
So I've seen a lot of chatter in the group about the size of the baby Yoda, and somebody said it's about a little bit taller than like a credit card size. So it's going to be about 2.25 inch or so. So they're saying 3.75 scale Yoda. I mean, essentially that's probably going to be, the size here. So start making your displays and your dioramas ready now. All right, so we kind of mentioning it. So there's a standard and a deluxe. We're kind of showing a lot of the images on the stream of the deluxe figure. This is going to be the 7th and 8th Mandalorian figures that are going to be in the series. TMS014 and TMS015. TC, you were actually thinking that this one might end up being a DX, but I mean, for a deluxe, for over $300 at a price point is expensive, but I feel like you're getting pretty good value, for what's here. The standard's going to go for $259. Doesn't have as many of the bells and whistles. We'll kind of get into that. So $259 for the standard. $313 is going to be the deluxe. It includes the bassinet and the Beskar and the ice cream holder for the Beskar, so that you can run around like you're on Bespin.
Yep.
With
hood.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I knew the vintage collector here would be able to save my what. I must just swear. I'm just gonna get like those assemble guys have such a potty mouth. Like, Chris, when you and I started this whole thing, like it was like you're gonna be able to listen to this regardless of who's in the room. If you're driving around with your kids and you want to listen to collecting, we're not gonna swear. And I think it's so easy. Like, and I'm not saying I don't swear in public. I try not to swear around my kid, but like it takes a certain level of restraint to not drop like S and F bombs every so often just in normal conversation. So
yeah, I mean, you were swearing before we started recording. So
oh yeah.
No, I know it is.
There's a certain level of professionalism here that is not necessarily attained often on the assemble. There's a little more prestige to be part of the home show, the OG, the flagship. Yeah.
There's too much relaxation on that show. They need to.
You're being watched, fools.
Yeah, it's Matt. Matt has the potty mouth, so
totally kidding.
Yeah, I'm kind of not.
I know.
By the way, Rogue One 6 canceled. So Scavengers Assemble canceled until further notice. Just kidding. So like I said, the 7th and 8th, the Mandalorian line, guys, is starting to feel pretty robust. There are some other characters. I'm seeing some Moff Gideon talk out there, Cara Dune. I think there's some other things that would make it even better. April to July 2021. So we're looking at a year from now at the earliest. If we're being realistic, it's probably late summer next year. I know times are tough right now. We're not going to keep going back to that point. Mario's saying language. We need Cap in here to do an Age of Ultron language drop. I understood that reference. So it's looking pretty robust. Prices are decent. Kind of keep going through here. This is one of my favorite shots of. I just love his tuning fork blaster rifle. Here's the stack of. So I believe this comes with a stack of Beskar and it's a smaller stack of Beskar, and then like one individual one. You can see the tracking fob on here. There's the hologram of his armor from the armor. Heck, I want the armorer. Give me the armorer. Like this is the way.
That would be nice.
This one comes with his knife. He's got his little the homing bee.
Flying birds or whatever.
Yeah,
whistling birds.
Whistling birds. Yep. Ice cream maker. Another look at the bassinet. The cute child. I can see what you're saying, TC, about the matte finish, but everything I've seen
different here.
Yeah, I think it's just lighting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
Yeah, like
Baby Yoda
my own
reaching
kid,
out.
so
I know exactly.
So one thing about the deluxe and TC, you were one of the first people on our admin team to pick up on this, but the deluxe actually, the standard one just comes with the walking child, Baby Yoda. The deluxe actually comes with two. You're getting the one that comes with the standard, but then you're also getting this one that's kind of made for the space bassinet. So you technically could, and this is something that I'm sure somebody in the chat's already mentioned, but you could get the original, which is basically chapter 1 through 2.53 before he gets all full Beskar, where you could take the bassinet here, pair him with the first release Mandalorian, and then you could take the other child that comes with this one. So you could essentially have, if you're getting both, like I am, I might be getting 3. You can have
4.
Just 3, unless they make a quarter scale one, and that might be my first quarter scale. I hope they don't do that. I don't want to change my collection around that much. So you technically could have a child with each version of the Mandalorian. And there's enough other little accessories and stuff. You have his jetpack that he had. I guess at this point, sorry, UK listeners, I know you guys are getting Disney Plus next week, so you can finally legally watch The Mandalorian. But at Chapter 8, he does get his Mandalorian backpack, so you have that look. He has the Mudhorn signet that he adds to his right shoulder from the armor, and you get a lot more. You get his whistling birds, the ice cream maker, the bassinet with the deluxe. I mean, everybody's talking about it right now. This went right to the top of my most wanted list. I knew it would when it finally got released, and it's just this is what Hot Toys is all about. Like, this is why we collect. It's such a good show. It's such a good character. Like, you're getting everything you could want with this one. Like,
yeah, they could have easily just done Beskar Mando, one Baby Yoda, and then a couple accessories. Then have to throw in the ice cream maker. Then have to throw in the secondary Baby Yoda with the alternative face skulls. People would have bought it regardless, because they know that the customers is what the number one figure a lot of fans want. But they included a lot of stuff. You get a lot for even though the price is high, you're getting a lot, especially for the deluxe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I got the standard up on the screen here too, and you're still getting a lot. You're not getting the extra Baby Yoda. You're not getting the bassinet. You're not getting the ice cream maker with the extra Beskar. You are getting the Baby Yoda with the Mudhorn, not the Mudhorn. The Chris, drawing a blank. The
Slughorn.
No, the
all the Boba Fett fans are gonna be like, these guys are a bunch of morons.
What's the creature's name? Mythosaur. Yeah.
All right, we saved our fandom here a little bit. Even Keely, it's Keely, Matt.
Yeah.
Not Queel. Or the other Q word that you said that you should never say again. I mean, look how cool the fire effect is here.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's got a grappling hook one.
You got the Mudhorn signet with the standard. I have seen some scavengers actually go for this version versus the other, because they said they wouldn't display the other version. There's so many options here. It's like, or you could do something crazy like me, and you're going to get both the deluxe and the standard, because you want to show the jetpack version and the Mudhorn signet on one. So you want to have a chapter 7 and a chapter 8 one. But
Can't help yourself.
I can't help myself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's.
Are you going to keep that?
Yeah.
I am.
Are you going to cancel one of them?
I'm keeping it.
You're going to sell it before it reaches you.
Nope. I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Whoops, sorry. It's just, I love the options that you have with, both versions.
Is the deluxe is the better version. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like one of Justin and I's, one of our buddies, he's not into 6 scale stuff, Hot Toys, none of that stuff.
But he should be.
He's gonna buy this as his first, and he says his only Hot Toy, but we are.
Yeah, ask Justin how that went.
I know, right?
I'm just getting K2SO.
Yeah.
Wait, Chris, who's this? What's his name?
Oh, my buddy Steven.
Oh,
Steven
okay,
Ward.
sorry.
Yeah, he's our other, the third member of the Rebel Commando Mafia.
So what you're gonna say is like the Rebel Commando Mafia is actually going to be disbanded at some point. You're going to see all that merch actually hit the open market.
Justin is the smartest of the bunch because he's getting in earlier. He's late, but the thing is, if you continue to wait, just going to screw you even more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So props to Justin out there.
Yeah.
But Chris, this should be the first. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. This should be the first figure you get for your daughters.
No.
Oh, the thing is, like, they come down and I'm putting my chair together this afternoon and they see I've got Yoda and BB-8 on my desk and they're like, oh, real hair. And they're like rubbing the hair and they're pulling BB-8's head off. And I'm like, get away from this stuff. So anyway, they're going to get, if they make a, probably a Black Series 1 or 3 3/4 inch one, but yeah, this guy, man, so many options. Looks awesome. There's a nice bright spot, bright thing for the news this morning, seeing this guy.
I mean, shout out to all the scavengers out there that had been saying, I can't remember who the original person was that said we were going to get, the way that we were going to get the child was with Beskar Mando, and Hot Toys is listening. I mean, like I said, I can't say this enough. I mean, there's so much bad stuff going on in the world right now. I mean, the fact that we can even get a little joy talking about, a 12-inch action figure collectible here with a 2-inch baby Yoda alien creature here. It's just what a time.
I know. It's literally the little things that keep you going. And I love how the base just tacks on to the for the child. It just tacks on to the main part of the base, and you can have a very simple pose of them just strolling through the desert with the little pram floating behind them.
I agree. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, did you guys keep track of like how many people we convinced to get this? I saw Video Pirate was like,
he was on the fence, but he succumbed to the pressure.
I know we've got Ryan that popped in here, who I was chatting with earlier today in the group. He's been collecting Hot Toys for 12 years, so basically since, well, at least not since. I mean, Hot Toys has been doing this for 20 years, but it's been about 2008 was when they got the Marvel license and started releasing Iron Man figures. So I mean, that's I was sad, like somebody like that's got a lot of experience, a lot more experience than the three of us combined. Mm-hmm. And he was saying it was just more a lot of luck than anything, and kind of finding good deals. It was funny because I think, what did he say? Oh, he was looking for a Count Dooku. He's like, guys, I'm going to scavenge a Count Dooku. I'm going to try to go for under 200 shipped. And it was funny. Everyone's laughing, but then I was like, hey, you know what? Doesn't hurt to ask. So we'll keep tabs on him, see if he's able to score that ABS deal or not. But
the countdown is on. Oh, sorry. I was just saying, the countdown is on for Mando 1, the first Mando. We got to get that one out first, and then we can really put our eyes towards this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, by the end of the year, we'll see it.
So, gosh, still 46 people out there tuning in live to hear us rambling and gushing over the Childs and the Mandalorian here, but Yeah, I mean, just two great releases. There's something for everybody. I would just, with everything going on, I saw a few people asking like, I can't pre-order this right away. You've got over a year to figure out what the pre-order process does for Hot Toys is, if there's going to be enough people that'll buy them and will front the NRDs and commit to buying them, they'll make them. What happens is like, if you have a figure like the Patrol Trooper that there wasn't a lot of demand, they still make the figure anyways because they committed to doing it. And then supply and demand, it becomes scarce and then becomes valuable. I don't think that's going to happen with this. There's going to be enough. I mean, this is a keystone character for the new wave of Star Wars. I mean, Baby Yoda was the biggest pop culture phenomenon that I can remember in quite some time. I mean, everybody knows who Baby Yoda is, even non-Star Wars fans, non-collectors.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. My daughter comes home from dance class a couple weeks ago, and she's got a Baby Yoda sticker, and I'm like, "Where did you get that?" She's like, "Yeah, my dance instructor is obsessed with Baby Yoda, and she has all these Baby Yoda stickers that she handed out to everybody." And I'm like, did
you say that the proper response to that, Lord Letty, if that is your real name, is this is the way.
This is the way. It is. And it's just, it's everywhere. It's creeped into every part of pop culture and culture in general.
Yeah, this one's gonna go the way of an Iron Man figure, where they're gonna produce 5,000 to 10,000 of them, and it's gonna be popular on the secondary market because it's gonna have that kind of demand. It's not gonna be like a Patrol Trooper, but it's still eventually gonna command a high price.
You wonder if this might be a situation where the regular or the standard version is less popular initially, and then a few years from now it's like one of those standard releases that's it holds its value pretty well, just because not a lot of people, a lot of people are buying it, but compared to the deluxe.
Yeah,
I think you can use some recent examples on the Star Wars side, Chris, to Obi-Wan, Revenge of the Sith, Boba Fett.
Yeah, you can, but those.
Well, I guess I would just
cheer it.
Yeah, like cheer it. That's probably not the greatest examples because there is such a big discrepancy on what you're getting in both of these. But oftentimes, if the accessories aren't super desirable, and I'm not bad mouthing both Obi-Wan or Boba Fett, but for normal collectors, for me, like the Boba Fett, you can kind of see him right there. The standard one is just good enough for me because I don't the deluxe stuff didn't really do it for me. And then with Obi-Wan, like the holo table and baby Luke, I'm just like, yeah. So, but we're talking Baby Yoda here. I mean, definitely that's going to be the popular one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dollar signs usually went out, so usually the cheaper one. People always say, "I want the deluxe," but really, unless accessories are differentiators, usually the one that's standard people go for because it's cheaper.
Yeah,
you get the figure, you get everything in complete release. You just don't have to pay the extra $40 or $30 for the extra accessories that you don't even use. This one's different though, but we'll see.
Boba is actually in the chat, and he's asking if someone had mentioned his name. So, yes, we did.
All right, let's hammer through our collection update pretty quick. I do actually have quite a bit, but it's only because some of the stuff was in flight, and when our last episode, I just didn't have it in hand, so I didn't talk about it last episode. So let's start with Chris while he's chugging a beer here.
Okay.
Hopefully it's a good
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Yeah.
It was on sale. So anyway, all right. I did a few things. I pre-ordered the Jedha Patrol Stormtrooper, and coincidentally, I literally was looking for one earlier yesterday, and I almost bought it. a used one, and I'm just like, I'm not feeling the listing and stuff like that. So patience pays off, I guess. Totally, totally coincidental there, but so very happy to add that to the collection. Last episode I talked about getting a Leia from Amazon. Well, when I received that, it didn't come in the shipper. The art box was totally smashed, and when I opened it up, she didn't have her vest on. Well, I don't actually know if she comes with the vest on or off.
She does. She
She
does.
does. Okay, so she didn't have it on. I'm like, wait a second. So I pick up the tray, and the vest is in a Ziploc baggie in underneath. And I'm like, what is this? You know, the figure looked okay. It looked like it was fine, but I just, for the amount that I paid for it, even though I used a lot of rewards points, I just didn't feel comfortable. So I initiated a return, and they accepted it and got a refund on that. And in the meantime, a seller on OSR BST, a guy named Cordell, he had to sell off his entire collection, and he had Hoth Leia for a really good price considering the current market. So she is yet to be shipped, but I got it for about $50 cheaper than the Amazon one. So I'll take that. Let's see. And then Mila had mentioned that she had a few figures for sale. She's been selling trying to sell like crazy. And so I bought her Jyn Erso disguise, still sealed. It was supposed to be here today, but because of all the fun shipping issues going on, it's still in LA. But look forward to getting that. Love that figure. With, again, Rogue One 6. They're talking about the Death Star gunner and, some of these background troopers and characters. And I'm like, looking for that figure. Forget it. The prices are silly for what you get. And then I'm like, well, looking at our checklist on the website, and I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, man, I think I want Jyn Erso disguise, and Mila had one. So happy to add that. Another thing, I've been into prints lately, getting all kinds of stuff. And another podcaster, Jay Krebs, she's got a podcast called Podcast Stardust. She had posted pictures of a print that she had gotten of Ahsoka, and I asked her, where'd you get it? And she's like, oh, this artist on Etsy. And I looked at his stuff, and I was like, oh man, he's got all kinds of good stuff. His name's Jeff Lynette, Jay Lynette on Etsy. And let's see, I'll try to show some of the stuff. I got Mando with Baby Yoda, Complicated Business. So it's kind of like a comic book, kind of propaganda type of thing. And then another one is like Rebel style with Kanan, Hera. So I just love this stuff. And he's got good prices. $15 is about the range. And then I bought 3 prints off of him, and then he sent me an extra one of Sabine Wren. So I was like, this guy's awesome. So definitely check out his Etsy page. Good, affordable prints. And then one last thing, my buddy Art Eddy of the Art of Fatherhood podcast, he's like, hey, give me your address. I got something for you. And showed up in the mail, and I finally got my snowtrooper set. Kotobukiya statue set. Yeah, I know. Yeah, just rub it in there, buddy. Rub it in. But thanks, Art. Appreciate it. Any dads out there or soon to be dads, I highly, highly recommend Art's podcast. He interviews people, celebrities, sports stars, business, well-known business owners, people involved in Hollywood, all sorts of stuff. Check out his website. He talks to all dads, gets all kinds of, advice and that sort of thing. And I'd love to get Art on an Assemble episode sometime. He doesn't collect 6-scale stuff, but he's so into pop culture. He's a big sneaker collector and he loves Star Wars and Marvel. And he's doing a promo for Disney for the Rise of Skywalker promotional stuff. So anyway, that's I have a few things, but not a ton 6-scale related.
Very
Who's
cool.
Next? Who's next?
TC.
All right. Well, I'm about to talk about something that we never talk about anymore. I guess we can still talk about Marvel.
Yeah,
it's still out there. It's still out there, and I still like to go and dabble occasionally. I got this from Dan Lee.
Oh man,
I love that.
Dan Lee, Battling Cap. Very cool figure.
Heavy hitter.
Thanks,
right
Dan.
there.
He gave me a great deal on it. Well under market. I mean, it's that figure that they had the regular version. This one it's weathered. It has the shield that Black Panther scratched. It's a movie promo, and it's not coming back. And to find it, it's kind of rare. And the market's well into the 4s for new, but Dan gave me a price well below that. So I really appreciate that, man. And I got that on the shelf right there. Now I did
still top 10 figure for me, TC.
It's good. And I think the weathering on it also kind of makes it look even better than the regular version. Like, because of the body they used isn't quite as good as the newer one, like from Infinity War, but it looks awesome. It's probably my favorite cap that I've had. And I've owned the the concept cap, Infinity War cap, and then now Battling cap. And I had Civil War, the first one, for a little bit, the basic version, but this is probably my favorite one. So got that, and might have worked a deal with Bryan for one of his Iron Man figures, but we won't reveal that in full because I don't have it right now. Probably won't have it for a good while because of the issue virus. So those are the two things I bought. And then today I broke all my rules. I
rules are meant to be broken.
I don't pre-order anymore. Well, no. I do occasionally with Steven. If I know it's a guarantee that I'm going to want the figure, like the Mark 47, I will say, can you reserve one for me? And he'll do that. But I went and pre-ordered the Mandalorian deluxe version Beskar from Tim Sent, first batch. So the next time I see Baby Yoda's face on Hot Toys page, I'm going to know that it's going to be en route to Georgia, not waiting another 2 months for it to then reappear in a warehouse somewhere. So here's the thing. You watch the season 1, everyone hopes for Baby Yoda. Then Sideshow releases their Baby Yoda. People want the Hot Toys one. Then Hot Toys gives an announcement. Finally, a month later, you get the actual promo. The next time I see it could be a year from now, the release. I just didn't want to wait. I'm just tired of it. I said, just do it. Go pre-order through Tim Sent and be done with it. And then the next time I see him, he'll be en route. So that's that.
I will say though, before I jump in here, doing the reservations on the Sideshow website actually worked. I did actually get notified of the deluxe version before all the other groups had it. So the email, and I got an email and a text message, and then later on in the afternoon when they made the standard, they didn't make them both available at the same time. But once the standard one was out there, I got the same email and a text message. So the RSVP things actually do work. And they do work, especially if you're a scavenger, unlike us, that we're so dialed into this stuff on a hourly basis throughout the day, just because we have nerd problems. But for somebody that doesn't have that ability to do that, I highly recommend using the RSVP notification on Sideshow, even if you don't intend to order from Sideshow. I know we have the phrase ABS, always be scavenging, and it went around in the group that it was like anything but Sideshow. I got to turn that into this kind of conversation, but it did work. I was pleasantly surprised by that today. Guys, we haven't even mentioned, we talked about the codes, but I mean, it's like Sideshow's been doing this like happy birthday thing for the last couple of days, and they're self-aware of what's going on. I saw a video by somebody at Sideshow was saying that they still wanted to proceed with their celebration despite everything going on, because they did want to be a kind of a positive light for people to look forward to. So, I mean, I got to give it to Sideshow right now, and they are giving out $5 codes like crazy right now. I mean, it's barely going to cover shipping for a lot of figures, but they're giving out $5. It helps.
I mean, it makes it competitive. Like I got for this one, I'm not buying much Baby Yoda stuff except for what Hot Toys is going to put out. So they put out a quarter scale, I'll consider it, and a life size one I might consider. But other than that, I'm not going for Funkos. I'm not going for any statues or anything like that. Any Black Series, nothing like that. So I felt going for the first batch would be my one splurge for Baby Yoda that I don't usually do. But if you don't want to do that, if you go to Tim Cent, you can get it for $270. The deluxe, you can get it shipped. It's shipping's free if you want to do that. $270. That's almost $50 less than, it's $43, but I mean, it's closing on $50 less than what Sideshow's offering. If you don't have rewards and you don't have the coupon codes, if you're just going to buy it, I mean, $313 plus shipping plus tax, that's a big difference.
Yep.
So
just there's some chatter about like when some of the figures and stuff might actually finally drop once things clear. And Video Pirates saying out there that a lot of stuff goes through San Francisco Bay, and right now San Francisco is one of the cities that's really just come to a halt right now. So, definitely be self-aware of what's going on. Don't demand where your toys are. There's certainly a lot more crazier things going on, but good little tidbit to share there from Video Pirate. So, gosh, we're running along, guys, here, and I actually probably do have to log off pretty close to 11 because my wife's like, hopefully you're done in an hour and a half, because she's like, I want to go to bed.
Jeez. Whoops.
Yeah, so I'll for time's sake, we'll move this along.
Yeah.
All right, so my updates. I finally did sell my Shock Trooper. PJ sent that off to him. I don't even know if he's in the healthcare industry. I know he's been super busy. I'm sure he's got a lot of other stuff on his mind other than Hot Toys at this point. But he picked up the Shock Trooper that I got from Pop Culture, and everybody was just making fun of me for selling it before I had it. But I actually sat on it for about a month, and I decided to pare down my sequel trilogy collection a little bit, and I actually got rid of one of my first order stormtrooper officers, the one with the red pauldron. I kept the one I got from Mark, just the standard one, but I wanted to just keep one little shelf for a few sequel trilogy figures. Right now I have the Sith Trooper, the Force Awakens, First Order Stormtrooper, Crate Luke, and Rey and BB-8. I do have TFA Chewie, but he's kind of on a different shelf right now. So I mentioned at the top with really focusing on original trilogy figures. Chris did the same thing. I've been kind of pawing through our Star Wars checklist on sixscalescavengers.com and just kind of picking off and trying to look at some of the older ones, see if I can get some ABS deals on some of the older stuff before it, gets even more expensive, as time goes on. And I really try to focus my collection on there. I got to give credit to our buddy Roy. He had a little bit of an intervention with me. He told me that I needed to stop giving myself labels about certain type of collectors and just be a Star Wars collector. Don't paint myself into a corner about only doing certain movie moments or movies of this and this line and that. Just collect. So I got to thank Roy for that advice. I mentioned it last time out. I did get Bespin Leia from Big Bad Toy Store. Obviously, it's going to be our feature figure review. Oh, I so love that figure. It's so much better in hand than any images we'll share. We'll get into that in a little bit. Funny story. I saw a post on 16 Republic, and actually the figures I ended up getting from this post weren't the ones I originally intended to do. I saw somebody was selling the Han and Luke Stormtrooper set for, a little bit basically about market price, but I didn't want to buy one and not the other. And the guy came back to me and I said, I'll take both. I'm ready to pay right now. And he's like, all right, well, hold on. Somebody wants the Han. And he came back to me and he's like, sorry, like I couldn't pass up this offer this guy made. It was like, it involved like a firearm and some cash and another figure. And I'm like, those aren't my thing. I'm sorry. I don't blame you. Take that deal and run. I mean, he's like, I would have been stupid to say no. I think the guy actually used to be in the military as well. So I was like, all right, that's fine. And I noticed he had the elusive snowtrooper set that a lot of people in the group have been looking for. And TC spoke so glowingly of it. Chris B spoke so glowingly of it. I was like, he had his price and I was looking at it and I'm like, I said, I basically talked it down a little bit and I ended up getting like, I think what he was looking to get for the shipping added on kind of taken off. And we went back and forth. The guy was super nice. I wish I could remember his name, but I mean, he gave me photos of everything along the process. He even gave me his personal cell phone number. He's like, if anything goes wrong about this, let me know. I want to make it right. So, I mean, that happened pretty quick. I actually kind of arrived a couple days after our last episode. I've opened it. I haven't had a chance to display it with everything going on. I have a bunch of figures that are behind me that I need to get displayed here. So there's that. The Sand Trooper I got, Chris B, he has his guy and was looking to sell some of his collection. Most of the stuff not even displayed and selling it at cost. So I got a screaming deal. And here's where I bought back some figures that I previously had. So Palpatine, who I sold to Mark, I bought back from Mark. I got a Tarkin on eBay. That one I think I had traded to Steve or sold to Steve or something like that, which originally was TC's. And then I had Boba Fett and I sold that to Chris B, the deluxe without the extra parts. And then I ended up with TC's Boba Fett, which is the standard one. So Tarkin, Boba Fett, Palpatine. That's all there. So I bring on the jokes and stuff like that, but I really shouldn't have gotten rid of them to begin with. And finally I'll just leave it. I got both the bandos on pre-order. So I'm going for creating the looks. I want to have one with the back, his jetpack, one with the signet, one not. And I'm just crazy about the Mandalorian, the character, the show, the child. And that's my update. Quite a bit. I mean, it seems crazy now just because in a lot of this stuff actually came like I said, like right after the last episode. I've been sitting on it for a while, so it seems like it's a lot, but even in the last couple of days, you guys keep making fun of me, like, oh, the big updates and stuff like literally this is the big last update for a while. I do have one figure coming in that will be in at the end of the week that I'll talk about next time, but after that, I'm shut down. I was going to bring something else up, but maybe it's a topic we can talk about like another time about like actually like concerns about we may have about things going through shipping lanes and, worrying about like the boxes and does that get contaminated and all that other stuff. So that might even be a topic we talk about another time, but I'm going to play it safe in that aspect and let things kind of clear out. So, all right.
Yeah. We'll see if those words reign true next recording.
I promise you that it will. We'll see. I'm pretty sure that's the case. But anyways, let's move things along. Let's move to talking about our topic of the episode. Yep. And Chris and TC, this is something that you guys had as a suggestion. I kind of agreed with it. Keeping up with the Joneses. It's a phrase that you hear a lot. I mean, it was the inspiration. I've never watched the show, but the inspiration of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and just that pressure that even we might even feel as hosts and admins of a group of like trying to keep up with like buying stuff and show like we're doing. And Chris, we've said it all the time. Like we're about as transparent as can be. We're not out there buying everything. We're not experts, and we do what we can.
We really do. I mean, we're just regular collectors that, decided to make a podcast. I mean, I'll lead it off. So I kind of thought about this because I was feeling it. I was feeling this, um, keeping up with things, and with everything I got going on, and the fact that I'm a host of this podcast, and I don't, I buy within my means, but still, like, I feel pressure sometimes to have something new coming in, and that sort of thing. And um it's one of those things that I just, as a regular collector and stuff, I struggle with, because we can't all have everything. And like Brian said, there's other more important things going on in the world, and we want to prepare for stuff, and some of this stuff is, we're lucky, first world problems, being able to have some of the stuff. But it's just, I feel pressure to buy figures, keep up with what's going on. I see people being able to score all these deals, and then I feel pressure. It's kind of piggybacking off of last episode. Fear of missing out, and so your pressure to constantly hunt, and you can't find it all. And I'm not mad at other people for finding deals. I think it's great that people can find deals. But it just the amount of time that I spend searching for stuff is probably a little bit excessive. But yeah, and then the other thing is feeling pressure to uh, have a display. And a lot of people have amazing displays. Some of our scavengers in our group, Aaron Brett comes to mind. He was featured on Sideshow's site for his display, and one of our new co-hosts with the Assemble, Chris B, just awesome setup. Obviously Steve and everybody really displays their collections their own way, and really nicely. And I've got, the warehouse. I got Indiana Jones warehouse here. But it's real stuff. And I have a feeling that other people might feel those things. And it's just trying not to go too far with the pressure, keeping up with, keeping those collections updates coming in. I mean, I've had them in the past where I've had nothing, and there's probably going to be more of those going forward in the next few months than recently. But yeah, that's just how I've been feeling, and I think it's just a real thing that us collectors go through.
Yeah, TC. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there would always be some pressure, because and even in the group, like you want to do what your friends do. You want to collect what they collect. It's fun to go back and forth. So when people show their figures, it's awesome, but it makes you want to do the same. I mean, you don't want to be left out. So I get that. For me, it's more of an internal thing where I always like watching the what is it, the Pawn Stars show, where they go to in Nevada, the pawn shop, and they bring in their items that they got in like 1985, and this is what they think it's worth today. So my pressure is more like internal thing. I like to, I don't know, get stuff to where one day I can like pass the figures down, or just have something that's out of print for a long time. It's something that I enjoyed collecting, and I was along for the ride, and that I was able to, build the collection as I wanted to. That's more of the pressure I feel. It's like an internal thing.
Mhm.
I don't know how to describe it. It's just the fear of missing out, I guess, or it's the I don't know. I want it to amount to something, so that's kind of where it goes. And I realize it's not going to amount to anything likely, because like when I was boxing up everything, when I was getting painting done, even some of the figures, I'm like, well, why do I have this figure? I don't really need it. And then when I unbox them, I understand which figures I like the most because those come out first. And those get displayed first. But it's just an internal thing where, like, if I'm going to be in for the ride, I want to make sure that I do my due diligence to where I'm getting the most out of my collection.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to compete with anybody. Because it doesn't matter. Like, I'm the one that goes into my collection room. No one else does. Like today, my dad went into my room and he looked at the figures and then he left because he was here. He was helping me out with something today. He doesn't even know what they are. People don't know what they are. They just think they're cool. They think they're cool to look at. They don't understand what the I don't know, the quality of the figure. They don't understand where they're made. They don't care.
That's like my father-in-law. Like, he's thinks it's cool that I'm into stuff like that, but he's gonna look at it and if I tell him how much all the stuff costs, he's just gonna be like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
Why don't you just, why don't you buy a car and, do all the stuff in the car?
Cars depreciate.
I know, that's the thing. That's the thing. So,
these at least will hold 80%. If you buy them right, they should hold. But yeah, it's more of like it's an internal thing where I just like to build a collection, and I just want to make sure that I have everything as I want it to be. I don't know. It's weird because it's like I said, it's the only person that sees this is me. But I don't know. What about you, Bryan?
Yeah, I'll keep it short just because we're running a little short on time. But I would kind of agree too. I don't try to compete with anybody, and the crazy stuff I do with my collection is just because that's just the type of person I am, and I do crazy stuff. I on a whim will just decide to change things up or go to chase something down. But I would say my advice that I'd give before we move on to talking about Bespin Leia here is, don't get frustrated if you're not finding the deals that everybody else is. Like, sometimes it's the right place, the right time. Just like some lucky schmuck got the Rogue One Stormtrooper set today for retail. It's going double that now, and you could argue it might be worth it. So just ABS, collect what you love, just like Boba's saying. And he's apparently not upset that I sold him once and doesn't have my puck anymore as the bounty, but just I mean, there's definitely, and this will be something we'll bring up again because as you mentioned, Chris, like the collection updates are going to get pretty sparse coming up, and we're still going to go on with these shows. We're not going to stop just because we're not getting stuff and there's not new figures to release and stuff. But don't feel pressure to keep up. Do collect what you want. TC, you said it best. You're the one that goes into your collection room and get the figures you love. PJ, the Paradox Nerds, collect what you love. Love what you collect. His tagline there, I think is pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always something, all this stuff collecting wise, it's something we're going to talk about every episode, but let's move on to
feature figure review. Let's talk about Leia, Princess Leia Bespin, Empire Strikes Back, MMS 508, retailed originally for $204, still available a lot of different places, but our speculation is this is going to probably be one of the next figures to sell out in anticipation of eventually seeing Han Solo Bespin, maybe a new Chewie as well. Maybe we get the re-release of DX07 Luke Skywalker. I don't know if that's going to happen. This originally went for pre-order September 27th, 2018 in Hong Kong. The release date was November 29th in Hong Kong, 2019. So about 14 months or so. I would say this, when it came out, like people are like, oh yeah, Princess Leia, that looks great. The head sculpt looks great. But maybe just not the most exciting figure. Not a lot of accessories. This is a part costume, an outfit that she wears in the movie for about 5 minutes. Lando's oogling over her just like a lot of us probably would have been. I mean, and I think, Chris, this is probably more of a draw to the vintage collection crowd, where Bespin Leia was one of the key figures in the Empire line. So people have a lot of nostalgia for this outfit in particular, and maybe that's what Howard Chan was influenced to actually make this figure. So we can kind of talk about this a little bit. We do have our guest review from Mike C in our group with some additional thoughts. And I actually wanted to include his thoughts because I actually reached out to him directly and for his feedback, because I knew that he had the figure and I knew he'd tell it to me honest on what he thought about it. And I was already leaning towards getting it. And after he shared his thoughts, that's what confirmed it. I went ahead and did it. So TC, I know you don't have this in hand, but you can certainly appreciate along with Chris and I.
Yeah, it's good. I'm not gonna lie. When it came out, I didn't really give it glowing reviews. It doesn't have for me the same draw that some of the other Leias do. I guess I just don't remember it as much from the movies. I know it. She wears it at the beginning of the Bespin scene, but kind of remember the escape version, the escape suit more. But hey, man, the head sculpt's great, and it's well tailored.
Yeah, I think it's a very simple figure. That's the price point is.
You're right.
That's why the price point's so low, and one of our scavengers scored a even better deal today on one. But I think it's just, for what it is, being very simple, it is, executed to near perfection as far as the tailoring, like you were saying. This overcoat with the pleating and the design on it is just it just looks awesome. It has just enough detail on it. If it didn't have the printing on the overcoat, I think it would the figure would definitely be lacking. But it's got an inner liner to this thing. It just looks awesome. And like Bryan said, the vintage figure is stuck in a lot of collectors' minds as a great figure, and the card art on that vintage Kenner card. I mean, it's
I think it edges out Hoth just by a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
head sculpt.
Yeah, you might be right, TC. I think they're both phenomenal. This only comes with the stand, her base, 4 sets of hands, so you only have 2 to swap out. There's not a lot of options there. There's no other guns or anything, or any rifles or blasters. There's kind of like this styrofoam backdrop, kind of representing Bespin. I honestly left it in the box. I didn't bring it out. I think it's just kind of a throw in.
It's magnetic. It magnetizes to the back.
Oh, really?
Or to the I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the angle here. So it just magnetizes to the stand.
Oh.
So
neat.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a little extra thing. I didn't really know what it was when I opened the box up. I was like, I literally have no idea what this thing is. But it again, price point wise, that's why it's so low. But they didn't skimp on the head sculpt.
I think the head sculpt actually looks better in person than it does in photographs.
Yes, it does. It does. This lighting and the promo images that we're showing on screen, it's very soft, the lighting, and in person, I think it looks a lot better, honestly. But yeah, it's tough to.
Yeah.
Can we get a Bespin Han up in here?
Yeah, we need.
This is ridiculous.
Harrison, what the heck, dude? You need to approve these likenesses because people are clamoring for your figures. don't be on Jimmy Fallon ripping up your
He hates
Hot Toys figures and throwing them at the audience.
shredded it.
Oh,
All right,
man.
so I just want to include Mike C's guest review. He said, I think it's a great figure. It's the best Carrie Fisher head sculpt to date, and the outfit is outstanding. He's like, the backdrop caught me off guard at first because it's just styrofoam, but it looks good. He said, obviously, accessories are bare, only a couple of hands. He said, if you get it retail or less, I would definitely get it. I would recommend, he said, he would give it a 5 if they didn't cut a couple corners with the backdrop, and then kind of the lack of accessories. But his final review was a 4.75. Solid. I mean, you don't want to miss this one. You're going to regret it. I think in the aftermarket, a lot of places have plenty in stock right now. Sideshow and Big Bad Toy Store. Like last I checked, they still had over 10. So, when it starts going, I don't see this one ever doubling in retail price, maybe. But I think a lot of people, if you're playing the waiting game, don't wait too long, because you certainly are going to be. I don't know if I'd feel the same about the figure if I had to pay $100 more than it's going for now.
Yeah.
But I think once, as TC said, once Bespin Han goes, like this is going to go there. If we ever get a Lando, this is going to go up. I mean, Bespin's a really cool part of Empire, and like you said, Chris, this has a really strong draw to the vintage collecting crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I was just watching one of Cletus's latest videos, and he picked her up at a local comic shop, and he was pretty psyched. So he'll probably have an unboxing or review soon on her. And I just think, man, they release a Bespin Han, this figure is going to start, selling pretty, pretty good. And just who knows when that's going to be.
Yeah. I really want Hoth Han.
It's
just as
another
a
good
side
one,
note. Whatever one they release, it sucks because then the other one's like 1.5 to 2 years out. So, but again, either one.
I know I'll just end on this note. It's like, this is the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back, and you would think of all years to drop Empire Strikes Back figures, it would be this year. And we're already, about a quarter of the way through the year, and no Empire Strikes Back figures. So hopefully we'll see more. But anyway, this figure, I'm glad I picked her up. And yeah, she's a good one. I only paid $24 for her. So
Chris, rating. What do you got?
What are we gonna rate her on? Let's see, Bespin buns. How about that?
How many Bespin buns, Chris?
I think it's so hard. Like this figure, I think I got to agree with our guest reviewer here, Mike C. 4.75. I think for what it is, it delivers. There's not much else I could ask for this particular figure.
Agreed. I'll make it a clean sweep. I'll say 4.75 as well. I was leaning towards maybe 4 or 5, but I mean the head sculpt is just it's Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
In person, it looks so much better than any image. Like you said, she can get a little washed out. Don't sleep on it. I don't think you have to run out and get it now, but if you're waiting on it to find a better deal, I don't think that this one's going to get to the point where you're going to see her available for free shipping on Sideshow. I think she'll sell out before that.
Yeah. Yep.
And maybe you'll, so I just do whatever you want to do with your collection, but if this is one you're thinking about getting, I just wouldn't wait for like free shipping and $20 off, because I just don't see it happening. It's going to sell before then.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And especially people looking for stuff that's in stock and all these codes and everything that Sideshow has been providing collectors. She is one of those figures that's in stock. So, look for a deal, scavenge, but I don't think too many people will be disappointed if they're a Carrie Fisher or Princess Leia fan.
All right, great episode, guys, and hopefully, I think we topped out at like 51 or 54 at some point.
Yeah, 54, I think was the
I
highest.
think I got to thank everybody that hung around for the long haul here, and we had like a second wave of scavengers that kind of came in. A lot of people now that weren't there at the beginning. I see Rid 27, some others that kind of popped in that weren't there at the beginning. Like you said, Boba's bounty. So don't claim that bounty on me, Boba. So let's do the plug time. So we've got our website, sixtailscavengers.com. We've got our YouTube channel here. If you're not a subscriber already, go ahead and subscribe to that. We have our TeePublic store. These new Rogue 16 designs are great. There's a link on our website. Also, if you just go to TeePublic and search for Six Tail Scavengers, you'll find our store there. Chris, I know the Six Tail clothier will be back in business here at some point. And
yes. I got a special small iron for my my. I know my wife is giving me so much crap. They are coming. I apologize to all. Everything has been busy, but there are t-shirts and sweatshirts for your figures coming. I swear.
All right. So we've got our Facebook page. We're on Instagram and Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, and sixtailscavengers.libsyn.com. Throw that RSS feed into your podcast catcher of choice. All right, guys. Good long episode here, and a lot of good chat. Hopefully we were a good distraction for everybody. Stay tuned for more content on the way. Rogue 16, Scavengers Assemble, the show Matt's going to do within our Facebook group, Shelter in Space with Chris B. Look for more of that. And any final thoughts, guys?
No, good episode. Just one quick plug. Give Collecting Weekly a listen, Zach Dean. And then suite of shows that they have, Damien Dillon, they run Small Talk, Ian and Pete, Only Fools and Collecting, and they've added even more shows. So if you want to listen to them even more, give them a listen.
Good stuff. Chris?
No, it's just a great conversation. Glad to be here for everybody, and love everything going on in the chat room and the interaction and all that sort of thing. It's always fun.
Apparently everybody got a kick out of saying I hate you when you were going to do like the I am Batman instead of the typical Stan sign off. I'm really disappointed. I wish we really would have thought of the Porkins sign off of Stan Target before the Rogue 16 guys did. I like that one better.
Well, maybe I'll say something different this time around.
I hate you. All right, bring us home.
This is the way.
This is the way. All right. I'll go with that. This is the way.